You go to currently room 2, and that's the one that actually doesn't manage to go into the room because it seems like the door, this one, despite having been broken into, seems to be locked. And there's a faint smell, and that same smell you smelled near the vent, Cinder. And
Oh, there's something dead in there.
yeah, now the door is locked, but it doesn't seem to be very securely locked. You think it's just a makeshift something from the other side?
So before just you break into or make a decision, can I just make a suggestion? And Sachiko says this. She says, "Hey Noel, you're an engineer, right? Wouldn't our jobs be easier if there wasn't a holograph around here? So why don't you go and break the machine that Artie turned on, and this time in a way that he can't turn it on again?"
Artie's likely to break Noel.
Right, so am I aware of where this is? This terminal?
No, you could try to run towards Artie.
No.
Good
No,
idea.
I don't.
And Artie, you're in the room now in the pit pod place. There's a working interface there, first of all. There's the pod that they broke. Down, there's an interface that's fully functional, and you could technically access all of the other ones from here. And right, there's veterinary equipment from what you can make of it.
All right. I'll use the interface and any way to unlock all the doors.
You look at the interface and you see that obviously you can access any of the interfaces that you've currently activated, one of them being the baby pod one. And you see that there is basically biomatter available to the baby pod one. However, no brain matter, none of the nervous system filament. And this is the first time you kind of get introduced to pre-purchased genetic modifications, and you see that the baby had hearing enhancements. You think probably because he had none of it when he was born. That's all you can see. So what do you change? You have access to all the interfaces.
Just unlock all the doors, open them if I can.
You see that it's on lockdown and it needs a specific chip to be placed into the chip interface for it to actually work. And by the way, you step over lots of other papers that were piled up on the side of the pod room as well, coming here.
Do I know what the chip looks like? Any idea, like shape or size?
You saw how it looked. It's a very small chip.
Is it like the one in my head?
No.
Damn
definitely isn't that. It's a security chip. It's basically like the last line of defense against anything that would be hacking into the system.
So all of the interfaces need the security chip to be used?
It's just a lockdown for the doors, but you see all of the doors already being open because someone seems to have cut through them.
Okay. The stairs though?
Yeah, for the stairs you have to turn on all the interfaces, and the only interface that doesn't seem to be working is the pod one. If you manage to make that one work, all of this would be much easier.
I will try to make that one work.
You notice a couple of things while you're going through the program. I'll tell you after the turn. Sachiko, anything specific you want to do?
I want to look at the pile of papers that you mentioned that Artie stepped on.
Yeah, those are basically the very first set of papers that all of you had seen when coming out of the pods. There's a lot of them. You can start going through them. It seems like there's a trail of them, as if they all originated from the sisters pod, so where Cinder came from, as if someone had been extracting all of them out of the machine, getting all of them down via the elevator, the transforming hands. And now all of them are piled on the ground. Do you think someone has been reading them beforehand? Do you want to read any of them?
I want to read as many as I have time for.
The first one. I am ashamed to admit it, but pen and paper helped me do so. I'm disappointed that things are becoming safe so quickly and unexpectedly. I was looking forward to experiencing what it feels like to be remade in the pod. Our experiences make us who we are, and I aspire to be stronger and wiser. And then you go to the second one. Mother still needs to clothe herself. Even if I can't see her, I will protect her from all threat, forgotten or not. And by the way, any mistakes or anything in there, it's actually how it's written. third one, little David wants to climb back into mother. I'm starting to feel younger as well. Or, is father growing larger? And that's where your turn for now ends. Noel, anything specific you want to do?
Right, so I'm gonna go to the edge of the door next to her and use my surveillance perk to just get a quick scan of the area. I'm not gonna go into the room, but I'm gonna stand in the open doorway.
For now, she hasn't made the decision to break the door or not for the second one.
Oh right, and it's definitely locked.
But it's makeshift. You think you yourself could kick it open even?
Well, I think instead of embarrassing ourselves, I should just use my architect perk to find the weakest point of the door before I try and kick it in and break my leg.
You manage to instantly open the door. You see that it's a bath place. It seems to be almost completely clean except for a couple parts. The bathtub itself seems to have a mutated corpse. You can see feminine arms hanging from the sides of the bathtub. This is up, by the way. So if you look at the map, that's up against that wall. There's a corpse in there. You can just see the arms, but it seems like otherwise there are just mutations and it's moving. There are bugs around and there are balls of flesh and gore on the ground, very small. You could just rolling around. And one of the sights that you witness is a bug with a green tail stinging this ball of flesh, and then the ball of flesh then dissipates. This hairball-like little fly starts flying out of it as the green one then jumps and eats it. And you see just lots of different balls of flesh on the ground having that happen to them, as if it's the hunting ground for these bugs with the green tails. Down, you can see alcoholic drink bottles. There's a broken razor machine. There is a pill cabinet, broken mirror, hair dryer. To the left, you can see a big shower and basically punch marks on the wall. And to the right, you have the other door that the other sender is looking at.
Are any of the alcohol bottles filled?
All of them seem to be empty.
Can I see into the bathtub? Can I see into
definitely go closer. You gotta go closer to it.
Okay, I go closer. And what I want to check is there hair in the bathtub and is it moving?
No, there is no hair. You just see what actually looks like a little bit of a terrarium on its own. There is a shallow bit of water, and you see that the drain itself, like where the chest of the corpse would be if the corpse was still in its natural form, it seems to be that like that's where the drain for the bathtub is. And there's flesh and veins that are pulsating, that are going all the way down. There's this little lung-like movement with some organs that seem to be pumping a little bit of water out from into this bathtub. If you were to look down the drain, it seems to go very, very deep into the ground, mutated into just a homeland for lots of bugs. It has fungi growing out of it.
Can I tell if it's a living being or is it just a nest?
Do you think it's a combination of living beings? One of them being much larger than the other ones, but so far doesn't seem harmful. It seems like a sedentary, this corpse is now basically this island for life, and it's the one that's pumping the water out.
So I'm gonna try and get back out near the door.
All right. You get back out.
That thing seems large enough to get items into it, so I could very well turbocharge that hairdryer and just have it basically explode within.
It's not hurting, but we're going to take some bottles, we're going to take the razor, and we're going to take the hairdryer, and we're going to close the door now.
All right, you get all of those. Sachiko, this is just a little bit between your turns while you continue to read. You can see this mutated Alice rub her nose against your, or what would be her nose. It's just a protruding bone with little holes in it against your ankle while you're reading. Again, making the same sounds as always.
Sachiko tries to hold back tears as Alice does that.
You do so and you continue reading the papers. Father owns a lot of paper books that I love, yet he only reads through screens. Do they hold secrets, or are they just for show? I will impress him enough to share them with me one day. Mother has always made sure to remind us of all that the Father has done for us and how thankful we should be. I never doubted her, but now that he's staying at home more, I can see it myself. He is all over the place. He is everywhere. He breathes life into this house. Artie, you find a couple things. You know that you can, again, access genetic engineering interfaces for the baby's pod to even actually genetically engineer something.
Mm.
You think that the way to regain the pod access is to actually refill the current pods that don't have sufficient.
Biomatter and stuff.
They need to have enough biomatter in them, each of them, for it to basically appear as active to the machine. It points you towards where the tanks would be, the tanks for biomatter.
All right. So I need that before I can get the staircase open, before the pods are fixed.
Yeah, you need to somehow fill it up. And with your technological expertise, you think that you could actually use certain substitute things to fill it up as well. If you come upon them.
Use John's body.
Yeah. Actually, there's not much left of him, if you remember.
Can I use Alice?
Whenever you come upon any of that.
All
now, Cinder, the other Cinder, opens the third room, room 3. And this one actually seems to be a very fun room with lots of contrasting colors, very bright, super safe and childproof as well. You think it's a sort of a playroom. Up, you can see the Matrix device type of thing where you could connect yourself and enter a game completely. But the corpses of most of the family, your own body, the father's body, and the child's body, all of them seem to be connected to the same system, looking very old and crooked and malnourished. And again, they seem to have died very, very long ago. In whatever way they've decayed, it seems like their nervous system, again, the same green filament, has stayed connected to the device, the simulation, in the helmets and the connections, while their body has rotted away, mutating slowly away from it, looking like a black shell of its former self. That's what you see. Up, down, you see just lots of toys. You could search through them. Left, you see lots of toys. You could search through them in detail. And right, you could see lots of toys. You could search through them in detail.
So, just to get a better grasp on this, the filament looks like it's basically the body structure, and that the body, like the flesh and stuff, has melted away, essentially.
It actually looks exactly like you would expect the main outline of a nervous system.
Okay.
2 of the bodies missing.
Right. I will briefly tell the other 2 and Noel what Wright sees. Left will chime in with what she sees, and Cinder will close the terrarium back. Does the door latch, or is it kind of gonna stay open?
Both this door and also the door you could see to the right of that, basically bathroom, have been broken into a couple of times, but then sealed up with belts and such just over the handles, as if whoever broke in didn't want to see this again and locked it back up, so you could use the same thing and lock it back up again.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and do that for the middle section.
As she's doing it, I'm like chiming in, oh, you should put it there, that'll be stronger.
All right, you get advantage.
Cinder Center will just kind of smile and say, "You're going to be very helpful on this journey. I'm so glad we have you."
So I'm not gonna seal it off permanently, but make it so it's not just gonna fall apart instantly.
Sachiko, do you continue reading or any other actions?
Do I hear what Bender are doing?
Yeah, they're close enough.
Do I understand that they were looking at a corpse inside the bathroom?
Were you guys talking about it loud enough, do you think, guys? You guys decide.
Well, I came
mean,
back and immediately explained there's a fucking monstrosity in that bathtub. So I would imagine the raised pitch.
Yeah, I wasn't being tongue-in-cheek about it. I was saying it loud enough so that, I know what Sachiko does, so...
As soon as Sachiko hears monstrosity, she gets intellectually horny and she runs into the bathroom and studies the corpse, and she uses her mini purse, and I guess...
Let us wait for a second, because she goes head first into the door that Noel just locked, thinking that she could open it easily and go in.
I made a mistake, yeah.
He phases through the cracks.
Yeah, I want to study the corpse and see if there is anything in addition to what you told Noel that I can learn. But I just want to use what I already know about the family to see if I can recognize the corpse, if it's one of the family members.
Yeah, you can definitely. You get an array of information. First, the body died committing suicide. It belongs to the mother, and it was intoxicated when it did commit suicide. You think over time it started mutating and taking over the bathtub, and you think now it fits into its environment with the bugs that are around, and you think it could be one of the reasons why the bugs were attracted to this place, and now it feeds off of the bugs that it attracted to itself, and it keeps the environment going by basically using any left nutrition and strength in the body to have dug down deep into the ground and into the tank of water, making its way into the structure itself, growing through the drain.
And do I detect any threat? Can the bugs, I don't know, suddenly evolve and mutate into something really dangerous or something?
You think that the little fuzzy hair bugs, you think those seem very dangerous should there be a huge amount of biomass near them, because they seem to do something strange where they go in the middle and roll the gore around them and kind of use it as an evolving shield. But from what you can see, these other bugs, the green bugs, seem to just cancel that out and instantly basically kill them, and they live in harmony.
All right, so I come out and I try to think, and I say to Noel and Cinder that so I guess the family died, but maybe their clones are the ones. Something has happened here. There's a story, and for my next turns, I will go back to reading the diary.
There's always a story, sweetheart. You know that.
Artie, you now know where the tanks are. You know, again, you have to fill at least 4 tanks. That's the necessary amount. You have half a tank of biomatter, actual biomatter.
And a quick reminder, how was it that I can modify the bebe? The genetically modify the bebe?
Oh, you could get all the way creative with this. The more complex, however, the more skill you need.
Are there any requirements like the security chip or anything, or?
No, you could use the biomatter right now as well to pump out some sort of monster.
All right. So, can I make it obedient to me?
You could definitely try. It does depend on your role. Again, the more complex you make the monster, the harder it is to predict how it would act as well. The more dependent on your dice it is.
It's gonna take me a while to think about that because I thought, yeah, spy crab. Can I turn it into a spy crab? All right.
A crab with invisibility. Yeah, like chameleon skin.
Now, the invisibility obviously would be very complex.
Yeah. I'm just trying to think about how to not make it obviously want to eat me, but obviously it's not actually attacking, it's just hungry right now.
Think about it with more of a biological, like biologist mindset. You could even give it features, like, I don't know, it's a herbivore, but obviously it has to fit what you can feed it.
All right.
You can give it a dog's brain.
Artie is very good at that with what he did with Alice, so.
Can I alter it so it doesn't need to eat as much, or does it need to use all the energy and everything to sustain itself, so it has to keep eating the exact same amount?
You can be as creative as you want, but keep in mind, the more advantages you give it, the more complex, and so the more your dice roll would affect it. So if you make something simple, that's risk-free. If you make something with a lot of advantages, it might be a little tricky.
All right.
And you can even keep it for later while you work on this day and night and basically improve your skill.
I mean, nah. No. I'm gonna figure it out.
Impatient.
I'll skip my turn for now.
Who has time?
I'll ask the voice. What should I do?
Look.
Hey, what do I do?
Hey, I've been doing this for years. Waking up people is my job, you get that? Now, I can tell you, if you're gonna be stuck somewhere in the dream, if you stay somewhere for way too long, it's gonna turn into a nightmare. You wouldn't want that. So, always be on the move. Get this biomatter thing done. We'll be done with it.
Artie's just confused. Yeah, skip his turn for now. He's gonna get eaten by the baby.
So far, no sound from the baby. Sachiko, you continue reading through the pile, Father has finally allowed me to read the books from the Grand Library. After all, I did not miss a single day of study in school, even after the apocalypse. I'm euphoric. And then you go to the next one. After all, none of these books explained why Father was strange. Now that I'm a writer and see him in every corner, I can be the one to write about it. I am not disappointed at all. If anything, this is an opportunity.
Succ says we should definitely find this fucking library.
David has started to grow again. A writer does not ask. Knowing is what every writer is tasked with. I do, however, fear not being the oldest child anymore. Mother is always there. She is always hiding. She is always looking. I remember she claimed Father is the same, but I have yet to find the eyes. And that's the last paper you see in this pile.
Can I connect that to John losing John's eye going haywire? Can I make a mental connection between the two?
That sort of flaw in the pod itself wasn't quite there before you guys were made.
Right now, Succ feels that there are two families, a zombie family and a dead family. So she's not letting go of her original theory just yet.
Noel, Cinder, and Artie, did you go towards them, or what do you do? You're still thinking about the baby, right? Anything else you want to do?
I'm still wondering things that I can do. I'm wondering if I am I able to make the baby release from the pod after, the thing after I've programmed it?
Yeah, that's basically the idea. You could program any creature and then try to release it. It's a rare opportunity.
Am I able to modify it to only feed on like corpses, like rotting corpses and things like that? Like instinctively only want to feed on those things. Things that are already dead.
That's a feature you could add in. Yeah, feeds on corpses. Basically, vulture-like.
I was thinking of the bird. I forget the name.
Yeah.
All right, that's one of the features, but that's just a feature. What is the base of the creature?
The base of the how so can I change the base of the creature? Is it still going to be a baby, or
you could redesign the creature however you want? You're underestimating Artie.
Oh damn!
You could take inspiration from the things you have for better dices.
All right.
However, if you want, you could come up with something entirely new, but that would have a little bit of
What
disadvantage.
inspiration do I have so far? Like
the campaigns that you've played.
Which ones has already experienced though? Like has he experienced the sucky ones?
Yep. Alan.
Oh, that is so cool.
I guess the fans not knowing anything about the first campaign would actually think this is a dice reference, like sucky ones. These ones get lots of success.
What were What were those ones' weaknesses, if I know?
Those were mostly sedentary for the most part. They were connected to the walls. They needed some basically base to get they would be turrets-like mostly.
They would need someone to send a bait toward them.
They could be they would be good traps.
What were that were mobile and would be able to, go around with us?
The plant were pretty dangerous. Hold on, let me go back through my list.
The ones that couldn't hear anything, but if they saw you, they would run toward you and fuck you up. Those were the most dangerous ones that we met. But there was another one, the one that it follows and just can't be killed. That seemed to be the most dangerous one, and you actually saw one. Me and Cinder went cold before it arrived, but I think Artie saw it, so maybe you can try.
Okay, so we have the feral necrons.
Should I go for the big meaty one then? The big one that Artie was holding back, apparently.
Keep in mind that was very complex.
Yeah.
It seems to be somehow using every other organic matter around him to heal himself.
Jeez.
What
We
about
have
the thing you fought in the hallucination?
We have the teeth hand, which hate light, will not attack if seen. The feral necrons are not afraid of fire.
The feral ones are too weak.
Yeah.
What do you guys recommend then?
I would recommend the bark because they only need sunlight to, or at least UV light to be energized.
I recommend the shy zombie. If we have one of those on our side, we would be basically unstoppable.
That was the one which can't hear, but when it sees something, it goes and fucks it up. You mean?
Yeah.
All right, yeah, I'll go for the shy zombie.
If you're just getting inspiration from that, I have to tell you some of the disadvantages.
Go on.
You know that, first of all, it would need to feed on a lot. Those have very fast metabolisms. You had previously seen them being like radiator hot. You know that if you were to make one, you would only be able to make a small one because they're very biologically dense and very durable and able. But obviously the size with the currently you have a limited amount of mass, which is half a tank, half a human.
Yeah. And what about the one Air suggested?
You think you could make one inspired by an animal? You could maybe make a bark dog sort of thing, and that would be pretty fast, good at doing damage, and very versatile with how it gets energy. However, it would probably be easy to, damage with both fire and direct hits, like kinetic hits.
I mean, if it's a dog, it'll have a lockjaw, won't it? So, like, if it gets a good attacking.
Noel and Cinder, both of you can hear, well, all four of you can hear, technically. Again, from above, you disgust me. Yes, Cram. I love you! And then again, sounds.
All right. That's Artie's cue to actually make the thing.